Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. Some of the key symptoms of dementia, according to doctors, include memory loss, problems communicating clearly, and agitation. Donald Trump keeps showing all of that.
All psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter.
Trump's niece now alleges he has dementia.
His short-term memory seems to be deteriorating. And obviously, this is somebody who has never had a great deal of impulse control, but that too is deteriorating as well.
More on Mary Trump's assertions in a moment. First, on this day in the White House Oval Office, Donald Trump had an epic meltdown. During a Trump photo op with Saudi Arabia's Mohammed bin Salman, Mary Bruce, a correspondent for ABC News, asked this.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business. But I'll answer your question. I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine.
In fact, Trump has reportedly stayed involved in several aspects of the family business, including projects with Saudi Arabia. As Trump underscored, he sees no conflict of interest. The next question from Mary Bruce was about the Epstein files.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question.
A horrible, insubordinate question? U.S. intelligence agencies concluded that Mohammed bin Salman ordered the killing of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
You could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert.
But emails recently released by the House Oversight Committee indicate Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein met during Thanksgiving 2017 in the first year of Trump's first presidential term. And as for Trump's assertion that he had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, here's journalist Michael Wolff.
These two men, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, had the closest of relationships for more than a decade. They shared everything.
But Trump keeps pointing to several Democrats.
All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today.
Trump insists the United States this year has received $21 trillion in foreign investment. The annual U.S. gross domestic product, GDP, or economic activity across the United States is just $29 trillion. So Trump's claim is not only false, it is absurd. And even the White House website makes a claim that is just a fraction of the Trump figure. Back to the Epstein files.
And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that.
The question that Mary Bruce repeated to Trump is, why wait for Congress to release the files? Why not do it yourself?
I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible.
Trump's win was not a landslide. It was actually one of the closest presidential elections of the past 30 years.
And you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name? Reid Hoffman. Who? Reid Hoffman.
Forgetting words and names again.
I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you.
Yes, Donald Trump is concerned about anger and meanness. Just 24 hours earlier, here was Trump talking to a woman on Air Force One.
Is there something incriminating in the files, sir?
Quiet, piggy. Yes, the President of the United States called a woman he didn't want to hear from anymore piggy. By most accounts, Donald Trump's judgment is getting worse. He's lashing out more frequently, and he's increasingly forgetting words and names. Trump's father, Fred, suffered from dementia, and Donald Trump's niece, clinical psychologist Mary Trump, believes her uncle, the president, now has dementia as well.
But there are times I look at him and I see my grandfather. I see that same look of confusion. I see that he does not always seem to be oriented to time and place. His short-term memory seems to be deteriorating. And obviously, this is somebody who has never had a great deal of impulse control, but that too is deteriorating as well. So there are many, many red flags and many questions that are not being answered by the administration.
One of those questions involves MRIs. Donald Trump has had several this year, and that is a protocol for monitoring Alzheimer's. Trump cannot recall what part of his body got the MRI.
Did you know? I have no idea what they analyzed, but whatever they analyzed it well, and they said that I had as good a result as they've ever seen.
Narcissistic delusions are another sign of dementia, though in Donald Trump's case, he has had narcissistic delusions for decades. Still, Trump's behavior is triggering more questions about his mental and physical decline. By most accounts, Trump is more erratic than ever, and at a time when his poll numbers have plunged to record lows, the economy is sputtering, and the Epstein scandal is gaining traction, the pressure on Donald Trump is greater than ever. Combine all of that with apparent dementia, and you can understand why so many members of Donald Trump's own party are anxious and spooked. By the way, one of Donald Trump's highest profile media supporters, Sean Hannity, recently got ridiculed by a liberal radio star on Hannity's own Fox News show.
You know what else is great about Biden's decline is that Trump is all over the Epstein files, and I'm wondering if they're going to release those. Are you covering that tonight?
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Marco, who wrote of Stephanie Miller. Stephanie does not play with anyone. I hear you. Stephanie is a progressive star. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump exploding as his niece says the president is suffering from dementia. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.